Day, Oil Stream Game Day Edition. Thank you very much for being here. This will lead into EST Afternoons from 1 to 3, and then into the Reed Wilkins Show from 3 until 5, and then the presenting sponsor of the Oil Stream, Boston Pizza. Tommy Gazzola will be on location tonight, back at the old Westgate Stomping Grounds. All right, let's try this again.
Hey.
Let's try this again. It is the Oil Stream brought to you by Boston Pizza. Tommy will be at Boston Pizza tonight, Westgate location, which should be a lot of fun. I don't know what it is. It's about this show. The board, I don't know what it is. It's weird on the Oil Stream. That board just kicks out because we had sound and then it went away. But
my goodness,
we reset that board and we are good to go. I like Jay over in the chat says, I hope this is run better than the AM Nasty vacation. And yeah, I promise you that. If you missed it on the Nielson show today, we did announce with Chelsea from Expedia Cruises that Eric and I are taking a bunch of listeners to Mexico on February 22nd. And if you want details on this, well, it was crazy because as we were chatting with her, you could hear her phone like beep, like messages just coming.
Seriously?
Ding, ding, ding. Oh yeah, man. It was
wow.
It was nuts. So as we're talking with her, you could hear her phone lighting up from calls. And then when she was leaving, she like turned around and showed me her phone. It was just like missed call, missed call, missed call, missed call, missed call, voicemail, voicemail, voicemail.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's insane.
The Nasties are for real, man. I heard Cancun, and you guys were wearing the hats.
Cancun,
Very nice.
and we're going to So let me give you the details here if you're interested in this. Eric and I, February 22nd, direct flight, Edmonton to Cancun. We're staying at Planet Hollywood. It's a bit of a newer resort compared to some of the other ones down there.
Cool.
All inclusive, food, booze. It's $2,490. We had some guy texting and said he stayed at the same place with his family of 3 and it cost him almost 12.
Oh.
So it's a pretty good deal.
Damn.
So give Chelsea a call. She's kind of our official travel agent here now at EST. 780-970-4834. 780-970-4834 on the AM Nasty vacation. First of hopefully what will become an annual thing. And maybe we get to a point where like we have a whole plane.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Wouldn't that be sick?
That'd be awesome. And it is, what was I going to ask? How many spots for listeners?
Well, she said limited, but I don't know what that limit is.
Right.
But we'll have to, and how it works, you just need $350 deposit and then you can pay in
Work your way
installments
through it,
or you can, but the $2,490 per person, direct flight.
That's huge.
7 days, all inclusive. It's going to be pretty sweet.
Those are fantastic. And you guys being the captains of that.
When Eric's never been down to
He's never been there of that ship. Oh boy, look out.
So it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody.
Are you guys doing the show from there too?
No. It's just
you guys are going on vacation.
It's just vacation.
Nice.
So yeah, I think it'll be a pretty good time.
Well, how about that?
Yeah. So give her a call. What was the number again? 780-970-4834. Myself and Eric taking a bunch of listeners down to Mexico. And if the first one goes well, then there will be a second one, which is always a good thing. All right, 780-218-9999. Apologies for the audio issues right off the top, but we're rocking and rolling now. We will get to your Popeye spicy headlines. We'll dive into the numbers game for Play Alberta as well. Make plans to join Tommy tonight. I think I'm going to Popeye for a little bit.
Please do.
I don't know if I'll stay for the whole game.
We haven't seen you for a long time.
I know, but and then I'm out of town for games 4 and 5. So this is like one game for sure I can watch with Marshall. I think I might come down, have a bite to eat, watch like the first period.
Grab a poutine.
Then whip home. Maybe we'll see how the game's going. If it's a blowout, he's gonna be pissed anyway. So maybe I'll stick around. But so I'm gonna try to check off a bunch of boxes tonight. But Westgate Boston Pizza is where Tommy Gazzola will be set up for pre and post. Curtis and Tony and the crew. You've been there. I mean, I think last time we were there, we were, if not more than half, at least half of the lounge was just all nasties.
Yes.
Like the whole first row across the bar and then obviously our whole corner section. So
do you want to know how much of a like Cheers vibe it has become at the lounge at Boston Pizza?
I do want to know that.
One time, I think it was in the second round, maybe the first round, but it was down to me, Curtis, Big Uke, and like a couple of staff left.
Yeah.
And Curtis is like, Big Uke, you ever poured a beer? Big Uke's like, no. He's like, would you like to learn? And like half an hour later, Curtis is like, I would like another beer. Big Uke, could you please?
So yeah, they're a good time at Westgate
awesome
Boston
there.
Pizza.
Those guys are great.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. So yeah, it should be a pretty good night. Hop on out there and join us tonight. And if you want to go on a trip to Mexico with Eric and I, join us then as well. Let's start right away with your Popeyes spicy headlines. If you're looking for something for lunch right now, we suggest popping by any of the Popeyes locations. They got that new pickle sandwich. It's a chicken sandwich, but with a lot of pickle flavor. If you want to check that out, it's available at all Popeyes. What's the latest with the news? Let's start there.
Okay. I inquired, and what I was told about an hour ago is this is a true game time decision. Like there's no smoke and mirrors. He's nicked up. I was also told if he can't go tonight, he will be or should be good to go by Thursday.
Okay. So I would describe that as a positive development. That if he can't go tonight, he'll be sure to go. And there's 2 days between games.
That's right. They don't play till Thursday.
That would help Nuge as well. And we got some text messages on that. Let's get to this one from Coach Mike that already came in. And you can text us 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. He says, do you guys think that this wonky schedule favors the winner of Game 3 more than if it was a 1-day break between Games 3 and 4 than a 2-day break for Game 5? I haven't thought into how it
Truly
impacts it at all, but
never would have thought of that.
trying to think of it now.
Are we talking like momentum and 2 days between games kills that momentum?
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, like, should it not maybe be the 2-day break after this would be a bad thing for the team that wins?
I'm assuming that's what the question is implying.
Do you guys think this wonky schedule favors the winner of Game 3, though?
I think it's moot point, but that's just me personally. But then you could follow that up with what effect does a quick turnaround, quote unquote, quick turnaround between games 4 and 5 do to the teams with the travel Thursday and Saturday? I don't know.
I'm curious. What do fans think about this? I mean, Coach Mike is obviously curious about it.
Yeah, but Coach Mike has a very curious mind and inquires about things like that. And we are in the Cup final where every little thing is analyzed, overanalyzed, spit out, brought back in, and regurgitated, then spat out again. I don't know. I don't think, to me, if anything, whoever's nicked up after tonight gets that extra day of rest. And maybe it favors the team that gets the most banged up physically, if anything, regardless of outcome on the scoreboard.
Gord over in the chat says the NHL is doing its best job to kill the interest for this final. Do you think for non-Oilers fans, the drawn-out Cup final does kill the interest?
I do think.
I think it would kill the interest for me if the Oilers weren't involved, yeah.
But this is a deliberate play by the NHL. They said it last year, because we saw this last year, right? Like, what did that 7 game? It took like 16 days to get through that series last year. And the league said, we're going to follow the same format, obviously building availability, other sports in their finals, depending. And that's why we're seeing the wonky games 3, 4, and 5 scheduling wise.
But I could see it being a buzzkill for like a generic hockey fan in June.
I kind of lost track of the Cup final yesterday.
Yeah?
I didn't think. I was like, oh yeah, game day tomorrow. Okay, refocus. Because, I mean, it was a crazy weekend, but yeah, I understand. And if you're not dialed into it and you're just a casual hockey fan, you're like, when are they playing? Why aren't they playing? Didn't they just play like 2 days ago? Haven't they played another game since? It is weird, and it's going to take some getting used to, because Dusty, for years and years and years, we're just used to every second day they were playing, right?
Yeah.
And then there'd be the rare extra day. And then now it's at the point, travel, and we take it more time.
But that's the thing. And Danny T says the 2-day break is needed in those big flights, especially with crazy winds we had on Saturday. I'm surprised they could even leave Edmonton. Yeah, but this is the thing. Between games 4 and 5, there is no extra day.
Right.
It's just 1 day.
It's a
travel day,
here,
and that's it. Like, so, it's an interesting point.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a hard time thinking about, whoever wins this game today has a huge advantage no matter what.
Yep.
So I don't think it's any bigger because there's 2 days before game 4.
Yeah.
I mean, win game 3, you're in very good spot in this series. So massive game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Ryan Nugent-Hopkins being described as one of Tommy's guys as a true game time decision.
Yep.
If he doesn't go, and we're in the Popeye spicy headlines here. If he doesn't go, does Skinner slot in next to McDavid like he did at practice yesterday, or do you think they do something else?
I actually liked your recommendation on the morning show where you bump up Kane, get Podkolzin with Draisaitl.
Does that not feel like what Knobloch would do?
Seems logically sound, and he usually does go to Podkolzin with Draisaitl if they need to, and I'll hammer on it still. I don't think Podkolzin's a top 6 guy, but he's had good moments, and he's had a pretty solid playoffs. So like you know what you're getting from him. Do you want him dangling the puck? No, because he's not the greatest at it at the NHL level. But he goes into the corners hard. He forechecks. He finishes checks. He defers to his line mates if he does gain possession of the puck. He's a dog, as we like to say. And I think that would probably be the most logical move. However, we have seen Chris Knobloch try one thing in a practice or in a morning skate, and then we assume, these are going to be the lines and the pairs, and then boom, 2 minutes in, switched up. Most of the time, it's worked out. So, I kind of go back to when I think we were talking about it late in the Dallas series when the Oilers were looking to close it out. Don't read too much into lines because they're going to be jumbled up anyway.
What I suggested this morning was basically just what I thought Knobloch would do because of the way he's handled some guys throughout the entire season. Right. And that was, if you missed it on the Nielsen show this morning, it was McDavid and Perry with Evander Kane.
Yep.
Podkolzin moves up with Draisaitl and Kapanen. And then I think they could slot Skinner in with Henrique and Brown. And then Frederick slides down and plays with Janmark and Arvidsson.
Yeah.
I think that's, if I'm trying to read the mind of Knobloch, I just don't see him putting Jeff Skinner alongside Connor McDavid for this game. Like yesterday, it was like, okay, Nuge can't go. Well, we don't want to mess with anything else. Skinner go skate with McDavid in practice.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see a world where Knobloch, who for the most part only puts this guy in the lineup when they're completely desperate, and if Nuge can't go tonight, that's where what it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him putting him with Connor McDavid and Corey Perry in a game like this. I think that'll 100% be Kane, and then you go back to Podkolzin and Draisaitl Kapanen, which has been extremely effective. Frederick hasn't been effective at all, so you slide him down with Janmark and Arvidsson and play Skinner with Henrique and Brown.
Logically, that seems
I'd be pretty surprised, actually, if that's not the
and
setup.
Skinner, they tried him with McDavid a couple times during the season. It didn't really work out that well. Yeah, I would assume that is the route he would go. I like the way you explained it, and I think logically that would be the best thing to do. And I think that's what we would see if Nugent-Hopkins can't go tonight, which is a possibility. Anybody speculating, he's playing, and they know it for sure, I think would be a bit premature.
All right, so something to keep tabs on as we work our way through the day up to where, and we won't know until they take the ice for warm-up, and Tommy will be live at that time, so make sure you have it locked right here between 5 and 6 on Edmonton Sports Talk, and Tommy will have the latest on that one. We'll get to the blue line in a second. Tommy, what do you, 2 games in now? I think it could be 2-0 for both teams. I think it's 1-1 is probably where it should be.
Yeah.
And that's where it is right now.
Yep.
We were asking people this morning, where's your confidence level at going into game 3? And there were some people who were like, man, I'm not as confident as it was last series, but still relatively confident. We have seen this team bounce back in very impressive fashion since game 2 against the Kings. I guess game 3 against the Kings after they were down 2-0. I said this thing was going to go 6. I said it would be a split here, and I'm 100% expecting a split there.
Yep.
So I guess my opinion of this whole series hasn't really changed much, but what are your thoughts on it right now?
I'm fully enjoying this series because I think it's tremendous hockey.
Series, yeah.
And I don't know how it's going to play out. My pick is Edmonton to win it in 6. I still look at the determination and sheer disgruntled look and demeanor of the 2 best players in the league right now and say, how do you beat that? But the Florida Panthers are the ones that might be capable of solving that riddle. This is what I expect, is I expect Edmonton to have some adjustments that allows them to have more success in the middle frame, because that's become a clear theme, is that the Florida Panthers have owned the second period against Edmonton. And Chris Knobloch and the team need to figure out how to make sure that doesn't happen again. I think you need, if you're the Oilers, you need your guys to be sharper. That's one thing I thought Edmonton lacked, was some sharpness, especially after the first 10 minutes. That you saw the passes weren't as crisp and some of the decision making. I was talking about it on the Hangout today. Bouchard on those 2 goals by Marchand, both times, even though it was for a fraction of a second, got caught backpedaling, and he went towards the boards, and he gave that open seam to Marchand, and he jumped right through it, got the pass both times, and he took it in for a breakaway goal. I think some of the decision making, and I think someone mentioned on text in, said spatial awareness. Thought that was a perfect descriptor of where Bouchard needed to be better on those plays in particular. And I'm not going to just paint it on him that it was all his fault that They got scored on those two opportunities by Marchand. I think if you want to point fingers, I'd go Kasperi Kapanen needs to be better. He had a
really bad breakdown. You don't see them have breakdowns like that like, ever.
And that ties into them being sloppier in game 2 than they were in game 1. And I think that's where they need to sharpen up. But ultimately, like answering the question going, do we have a clear idea where this series is going? I think the best answer is no, because these are two excellent teams that are just like literally going for shot for shot like we expected the series to be. And we're witnessing that. And I love it. And it creates the drama and the tension and everything. Like this is a phenomenal.
We're bordering on this possibly becoming one of the best cup finals ever.
And last year's cup final was amazing. Yeah. And this one, you're right. Like it could be one of the best. Like we're talking about Trent. People are texting in, talking about Trent Frederick just not being fast enough, asking about his ankle, which is all of those are valid questions. But I just think we've gotten to a certain level of speed from both sides and level of play that like
you get like there have been some great series so far, but you can tell these are the two best teams in the league.
Exactly.
Like this has been taken to another level. It's like when Canada and the US played at the Four Nations. You're like,
love that.
This is a different level. That's what we're seeing. Not at that level, but at a different level because it's the NHL bloody playoffs and the Stanley Cup is on the line.
Yeah.
But Library Pat says, I trust the knob adjustments, whatever they are, even if they don't make sense right away. And we'll get to a couple of those. I do want your thoughts on this, though. It just kind of just crossed my mind. If Nuge can't go tonight, does that eliminate 97 and 29 as like a legitimate second half of the game option? Because what are you're gonna have to play Henrique as your second line center?
No, I think it would require more tap dancing. Oh, the road games always do from the coaching staff, but I think it would crank it up a notch.
So if let's say they put Draisaitl and McDavid with Perry, whenever it happens, and it'll happen sometimes. But like, what's your second line then without Nuge?
I think it depends who's going. Who's going? Who's giving you something?
I would sort of like automatically think. Well, I mean, but the only center option is Henrique.
I know. Well. You're not looking at Janmark going, get us a goal, big boy.
Like, there's no way I'm going, okay, the next line that comes over the boards after McDavid's line with Draisaitl on it is Evander Kane, Kapanen, and Matthias Janmark.
No, you can't.
So, I mean, not that Henrique's been brilliant by any stretch of the imagination, but he's your other legitimate center option. If Nuge is out and you play Draisaitl on the wing, Henrique's your second line center, you have Janmark, and then that's it. So that's why I wonder if it would limit things.
I know this isn't gonna make people feel reassured, but Frederick not play some center?
He's played some center. Yeah. I remember when they acquired him, he played some center. But I mean, at this point, he doesn't even look like he can play the wing very effectively. You can't throw a guy who can barely move in the middle.
That's true. So I think that eliminates that possibility. I just threw it out there, just thinking off the top of my head. Curious where Connor Brown's at. He's been quiet. I know he's banged up. Maybe the extra day gave him a little bit more of a boost health-wise, but they're going to need him to step up as well. Kapanen needs to be better, simply put. This is turning into a dogfight. That's how I see it.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Baggio is in and says, Tommy, this is the Rocky IV. No holds barred in Moscow.
Yeah.
Nothing but an old-fashioned street fight.
That's right.
Now, the old-fashioned street fight was actually Rocky V.
Which was a terrible movie.
Against Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn. Oh, God.
Wasn't a great movie.
No, it wasn't.
They should have just ended it after 4.
4.
You avenge Apollo's death.
Yep.
The Russians are chanting your name.
Yep.
End of story.
Yeah. You're going up against the steroids of Drago and the science behind him.
I really liked Rocky IV.
It was so
I think some people don't necessarily like it.
Like Rocky 3 was there a dip in Rocky 3? Because that was
I also really liked Rocky 3.
Rocky 3 was quite enjoyable.
Like if I had to rank the Rockies, I would probably go 1. 1, 4, 3, 2, 5.
I appreciate 1, but I don't enjoy it as much as like
3 and 4. I know.
I really like 2 because you get like the conclusion of the Creed, Rocky and the ring story. 5, you just throw out the window because it's hot garbage.
Three with Mr. T and
Hulk
Drago
Hogan.
involved. Those are Hulk Hogan. Thunder Lips is in there.
Yeah. That one was entertaining because it was like a pivot point, right? For Rocky. Now,
Next Bazuzu says Rocky 2 is probably the dip, but it was still really
Rocky
good.
2 is a dip, but you get the conclusion to the Creed Rocky in the ring story. At 5 sucked. And then even Rocky Balboa was good. Remember Rocky Balboa?
I didn't mind Balboa. It was better than 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mind Rocky Balboa. I still wouldn't, I would have it above 5, but none of the other ones.
Creed series.
Creed's been good too.
Pretty good. Yeah.
I've liked Creed.
I just really, that is a great lineage of films.
Penner's Pancake says 4, 3, 1, 2, 5. I have no problem if you like 4 and 3 more than 1.
4 is epic, right? It is the Cold War, and the way like it's done up. Like, you know when they're building up Drago and Rocky's doing like the old school mountain climbing,
carrying a tree.
Yeah, and he's beating on what was he hitting?
And you feel bad for Drago because his wife or whoever
was that Bridget
and the other
Bridget
guy,
Nielson?
they're such dicks.
Yeah,
that you're just come on, what are we doing here?
But he's like the Russian cyborg essentially. That was a great movie. I love it. Anyway. Look where we're going with
Sorry,
this.
Look, that's a movie that deserves a little sidetrack when you get a text in. We could, in the summer we could do an hour on like post free agency. We could do an hour on Rocky, and maybe we will.
Maybe we will.
Maybe we will. A Big Slam Nasty text and it says, "I've been using Because It's the Cup as a response to everything at work and home. Why are you late again? Because it's the cup.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry.
Why'd you drink 8 beers on Monday? Because it's the cup.
You're right. I shouldn't have even asked.
I think you can get away with that.
You can.
Yeah, I think you can get away with that. That's not bad. CB Radio guy is in. Says, I guarantee a win tonight and not in overtime.
Oh,
interesting.
That's
says,
spicy.
Guys, is it fair to say that I'm not nervous? I've been saying this all weekend. I trust knob adjustments, and the team has shown time and again after they have a stinker, they regroup and come back better. I know everyone is stressed because of years gone by, but this isn't that team.
Good point.
This is why we lost last year, to get to this point and be better about it.
That's a great text. Like good, rational thoughts.
Yeah.
Well said. Who had that one?
CB Radio guy.
CB Radio guy. That's a good one. Well done, sir. I'll give you that a round of clicks. That was a good text.
There you go. You like that?
Good points there. Hampton Steve, has Tommy heard anything to corroborate Friedman's report from the weekend that bless you? Frederick extensions likely, assume it will be lower cost. Bless you.
Woo.
Originally thought given Trent's struggles this playoffs. I haven't gotten like straight up from the Oilers much on it. But I did hear from a very, 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 very good source, very direct, that he very much likes it here.
Okay.
And is open to staying.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So that's what he said? Like it sounds very, when you say very, very, very direct, I'm thinking you chatted with him off mic. And he's just like, I like it here.
I mean, when your buddy is on a plane with his parents from his hometown to here, and they're talking about it. Yeah.
Okay, so, and I think RCN said Stav's been hinting at like a Nick Paul type deal. 7 years, $3 million. If that's what happens.
That's a lot of years, but he is young.
He's 27, so you get him up to 34.
Ish. Yeah. I know he's liked it here, so I think the price point is the more important thing, right?
Yeah, but I also think he's probably only worth $3 million.
I agree.
At 2 years.
I know.
So it's.
I'm surprised by the length that people have floated out there.
Yeah,
like 4 years. I'm really, okay.
To me, if you're doing the 7-year deal, you're getting a significant save on AAV,
right?
From what and it's so tough to evaluate. I feel bad for the guy because he's obviously still playing through something.
He played 6 minutes of regular season play with this
There
team.
definitely has to be a better player in there.
Yeah.
And maybe that better player is going to be a good deal at $3 million. But the Trent Frederick I've seen right now, I'm like, I'll give you $3 million for 3 years.
Yeah, I understand. that.
Like $9 million over 3 years.
But if he's the guy
you want to
pumping
lock
18
him up,
goals.
And but I mean, I guess it depends on how. Like, I don't see him being a guy who, with no power play time and playing on third line, is getting you 20 goals a year.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't. Was he power play guy in Boston?
Well, but he might have been second unit power play guy. They don't even have we don't have that here. So
what do you mean?
So you know what? 7 years, $3 million, cap going up. Pretty. That would be okay. I'm not going to sit here and go, wow, brilliant. They got him locked in at 3 for 7. I'm going to be like, yeah, okay, that's good. And he can be a middle six forward for you. And maybe he does eventually click with Draisaitl or McDavid, but you can't give him that look right now because he's obviously banged up and can't keep up with those guys.
That's fair. That's a true statement.
Yeah, we'll see.
I do like very good guy. I think there's a good player there. Yeah. 7 years, that seems long though. But yes, it sounds like the possibility of him staying here is growing.
Picardi Juan Kenobi says Frederick hasn't shown anything worthy of any kind of deal yet. Wilson, the volleyball, says 0 years at $0. He never played well in Boston either.
I disagree with that too. I think that's just being close-minded to him.
I haven't seen anything here yet that I'm like, they have to have him signed. I mean, but I also fully say I haven't seen the real Trent Frederick here. Right. So you can't, I don't think you're taking any tape from his time in Edmonton and going, this is the guy you're going to have. You're looking at his play in Boston and going, this is the guy they're going to have.
He had a couple of good moments in the first round and a couple in the second round. But outside of that, he's just a guy out there.
Yeah. And do you give guys out there 7-year deals?
That's why I'm surprised by the length of the term, if that's what they're sincerely talking about. However,
to me,
I value, I'll cap it with this. I value having legitimate NHLers on your roster at all times rather than tweeners, guys you're hoping for.
Fair.
You need to get new life in there like a Matt Savoy, but this is where I would be more inclined to take the money they gave to what's the European guy's name that's going to be on the team next year? Tomasek?
David Tomasek.
I'd rather have that money to give to a guy like a Frederick or what other potential free agents that might be out there that are generally pretty reliable, consistent NHLers, and you have a good idea of how they perform at the NHL level, as opposed to a guy that's a total flyer.
See, so if Frederick was physically capable enough to have had a pretty good positive impact in these playoffs, I'd probably look at him and go, oh, wow, this guy might be a $4 million a year guy. And then if you tell me, okay, but you're going to get him for 7 years, then I go, okay, well, about $3 million a year then.
Yeah.
So, like, you know what I mean? I mean, he hasn't been that guy, and he's still looking at a 7-year deal for $21 million.
Before this season in Boston, the rumblings were that he was looking for $4 million per.
Yeah.
And that was too rich for their blood. Obviously, things went sideways for the Bruins, like selling off guys, total collapse, and then he got his ankle hurt and gets traded to Edmonton. There's a player there. It's just, and you can't. I'll just put this as the icing on top. You cannot give him a no movement clause. Just don't.
No. If he gets the 7-year term, he doesn't get a no movement clause.
Yeah.
Leon's body language says, a 7-year deal is what he signed with an AAV that we don't mind. Where have I heard that before? And that's the Clefbaum song.
Yeah.
That was the Clefbaum song. That's kind of a funny funny reference right there. All right, that's an off-season discussion.
Yeah,
sorry, we got kind of sidetracked. There was a question that was popped up. Look at this. Code Red text, and it says, I'm so pumped, fellas. Celebrity spot in the EST Classic this year, and now joining other nasties in Cancun in February. My wife booked us this morning. Keep up the amazing content, boys. Code Red. Look at this guy. His wife booked him in this morning.
Why?
God, you got to love it.
Code Red. I just hope you don't get Zach to come.
I don't know. Zach to come.
He's quite pleasant.
Yeah, and you're trying to break 100.
He is. Look, he perked up real quick.
What's your best score so far?
I only got to play 14.
Okay. Yeah. 78 through 14?
At Rundle. An executive par 3.
Oh, is that a par 3? God, I love you, Zach. 78
go
through
away.
14 on a par 3. He's a beauty. But he's trying. No, you know what?
It's
not bad.
That's the
not
great
bad.
spot
He's just
to learn.
starting. He's just
Yes.
starting. That's exactly where you
That
should
is
be
a
playing.
great spot to learn.
Yeah, you don't
get
want
the
to go
par
roll
threes
out and play a 6,800-yard course.
there. No.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. All right. You know, I've said multiple times that ever since I laughed at Knobloch putting Kapanen in,
I know.
I'm totally done at criticizing any sort of things that he does lineup-wise pre-games. But Tommy, I'm biting my tongue a little bit on this Nurse Bouchard
Yeah,
thing.
I know.
I'm biting it. I still don't know if I believe he'll roll that out tonight. But what are your thoughts on that?
I don't like it instinctually. I was like, that's not great. Nurse has kind of been. I know there are some that are saying he's just been bad all playoffs. I think he's been okay.
I don't think he's been as good in the playoffs as he was in the regular season.
That's
fair, isn't it?
that's a
Yeah.
true statement. And I think Klingberg had a bit of a tough go. I'm curious to see how long, if this even starts the game, these pairings, Nurse with Bouchard, Kulak with Wallman, Ekholm with Klingberg. I'm curious to see how long it lasts, what the data tells them, because I feel like if it doesn't work in the first 5 to 10 minutes and Edmonton can't generate any momentum, then we're going to go and see Knobloch revert back to Ekholm with Bouchard, Wallman and Klingberg, Kulak with Kulak with Wallman. No. Jesus.
Wallman Bouchard.
Wallman Bouch. No.
Nurse and Kulak.
Nurse with Kulak. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Bouch and Ekholm, Wallman, Klingberg.
That's
we
the
go.
one. Yes. I'm literally staring at it and I'm like, wait. Okay. Breathe.
No, read.
Read, breathe. Where am I?
This has brought us into our the numbers game segment for Play Alberta. And if you have not yet signed up for an account at Play Alberta, please do. We're going to be with them for quite some time, and we've already got 4 plays up there, and they're all Oilers game tonight. So we've got a ton of options for you. Let's hit these quickly, and then we'll just dive into these Nurse and Bouch numbers. The early bird bet is 3-1. It's Oilers to win, McDavid 2+ points, a Bouchard point to Draisaitl point. Bouch, Draisaitl, and McDavid all cashed those last game. If the Oilers would have scored in overtime, we would have won a pretty good chunk. That's 3-1.
Okay.
Corey Perry point. That's my play of the day from social media, plus 103. They haven't adjusted the line. He's hit that in 4 straight games.
Yeah, he's going to get that.
He's got 5 points in the last 4 games. It's not up, but we are also suggesting that you sprinkle Corey Perry power play point. It's plus 303.
Ooh, couple bucks.
Which is, I mean, whatever you got sort of kicking around.
Yeah.
Plus 303. We hit that earlier in the playoffs one time when we were talking about it. The Lock Shop partner parlay that Jay and I put together on the Lock Shop in the 11 o'clock hour. Oilers and Panthers both to score in the first period.
Definitely.
And Evander Kane with a point, plus 398. There's a chance that cashes first period. So.
The goals for sure. The Kane one is intriguing. Although I have liked his game in this final.
If Nuge can't go, will he be on the power play?
I think they might try Henrique there.
Think so?
Yeah. Because you want
I'd
somebody.
throw Kane there.
Because can Kane.
He can shoot from that side.
He can, but that's not what they're trying to set up.
Yeah.
Who can distribute the puck to McDavid and Draisaitl to get the set plays going best?
I think I'd say I totally understand what you're
that's
saying.
how I look at that.
I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to say F that. And I'm going to say you put Evander Kane on the power play and you tell him he gets the puck to shoot it because Corey Perry's going to be parked right in front.
I like the simplicity of that. And
I think
it can be
that might be what you do. And then, I also like the idea of running a power play where you have Bouch at the top, McDavid buzzing around that left side, Draisaitl on the far side on the right, and Kane is like the slot shot. And it opens up McDavid when he cuts it down to possibly look across to Draisaitl. If they're taking that away, he's got Evander Kane sitting between the hash marks. Find him, hammer job home. Which I also don't hate.
That has good logic and sound reason behind it as well. Are they willing to do that, though?
I guess we'll have to see.
We'll see.
I'd rather Nuge play, but something to look at. So both teams, do you like both teams to score in the first, though?
Yeah, 100%.
Similar type of game, you think? 5-4, 5-3?
Yeah, we're seeing early goals. And
Yeah.
we're seeing chances being traded. Yeah, I think it's going to be like 2-1 going into the second period. Or was it 3-2 the other night? Yeah, there will be goals. Goals will be scored.
The other one we have here is Jay's play of the day, Oilers to win and Draisaitl 2 points, plus 235. So you go to playalberta.ca. If you haven't made the deposit yet for this month, deposit $20. Use the code EST Sports. You get a $50 free bet. Deposit $5. Use the code YAG50. You get a $50 free bet on just a $5 deposit. So there's some free bets sitting there waiting for you with our partners over at Play Alberta. Those are all under the EST Specials tab. When you hop on the app, EST Specials pop up kind of in the middle under sports category, and then on the quick links, Odds Boost, Daily Specials, EST Specials over on the website. We'll get to the power play in just 1 second, but the other thing I wanted to go to, just because we were talking about Bush and Nurse together here.
Or Noosh.
Well, together they could be Noosh.
That's right. I see what you mean by that.
Will Knobloch go full Noosh tonight? Find out at 6 o'clock, shortly after. Bouchard and Nurse together. Goals for percentage. So this is just goals. This is goals for.
Okay.
5 goals for, 8 goals against. Bouchard without Nurse, 20 goals for, 8 goals against. So it's not a pair that has worked.
No.
I'm still not sure I'm believing we'll see it. This is a huge game. I don't know if we see that.
They tried it a couple of years ago and it didn't work. Why all of a sudden does it work?
Can I throw something at you?
Please.
I was thinking about this. Might be a little crazy, and this is not a slight towards the player. But would you take out Kulak to put Stetcher with Nurse? And then leave Wallman and Klingberg together and Ekholm with Bouchard?
No.
The best Nurse looked is with Stetcher.
I'd soon rather go 11-7.
Okay, yeah, that's fine too.
And then you could have like you said, those pairings.
That's
then
probably a better idea.
Kulak can be the rover among the D-men.
Which you think he'd probably be okay with.
And you still give him 15 to 20 minutes. I'd rather that.
Yeah.
So
would you rather get Stetcher in and take like Frederick out, or not bring Skinner in tonight?
Not bring Skinner in.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I wonder if they would do that.
I like that idea.
I wonder if they would do that.
Find out at 6.
I'm thinking it's like 90% no.
Yeah.
But I think there's like a 10% chance that maybe they would see that.
That would be the dark arts in game within the game.
I mean,
he's
all of
done
a sudden
a little bit of it.
Throwing a loop into things.
Yeah.
You're already going to have to play McDavid and Draisaitl a ton.
Mm-hmm.
So just rip that Band-Aid off.
Sure. Why bother with 6 minutes of Jeff Skinner when you can use those other 2 thoroughbreds up front, mix in another D-man with the idea of stabilizing someone who's supposed to be better in Darnell Nurse with Troy Stetcher, and then allowing and providing Mark Stewart and Paul Coffey a piece like Brett Kulak to move around on the back end where you see fit.
What about Klingberg out in Stetcher in? People are asking about this. Then you play Kulak with Wallman.
I don't mind
Nurse.
that.
Actually, I don't mind that.
Klingberg has looked a little bit slower against Florida than he has in the other series.
I think it's just because Florida's quicker than they saw
Exactly.
in the other series.
They're so fast.
They're a great team, man.
And that goes back to like the Frederick thing too. I just think that the pace of play is so fast in this series that Frederick would look good against 90% of the league in terms of keeping up speed-wise. But this series has elevated it again that guys that are a little bit less fleet of foot have a tough time keeping up.
If Klingberg struggles tonight, I'd be fully on board with putting Stetcher in.
I don't mind that, actually.
Darren on Jasper says, Dusty, please ask Tom if he's doing another Visson spot later today with Mitch and Paulie. He knocked it out of the park last week.
Oh, thanks. No, but that was fun. Those guys are great. Dennis Bernstein's really good friends with them, and by all accounts, they were happy with it. So, but that Visson was cool. It's cool because it's like I think they're at the sports book in one of the hotels in Vegas, and DB was the best. He's like, I heard you on with Mitchie and Paulie tomorrow, in his Brooklyn or New York accent. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, those are my boys. Tell them I said hi. And I told them, and they're like, DB, he's the best. He's the best. DB's like this like gangster pseudo glue guy.
Okay, so this is why I don't want this to come across as disrespectful to DB. but I've been thinking about who he kind of reminds me of. And you remember in the one Matrix, there was those two twins, those white guys that could go through walls.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is Bernstein. Those are the guys. So I looked it up. I was like, you just said they're like, what'd you say? They're like, they know everything. Glue. What do you call it?
I call him a glue guy.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, those two guys. I was just like, that's what he reminds me of. Those two.
Yeah.
Remember in the Matrix,
Yes.
the second or third one, they were there with they were protecting they're blocking you from getting to the key maker or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, those two guys, the twins.
And DB wears like $5,000 these beautiful coats,
crazy suits. So do those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's got the look. He's got
It's like, look, I'm doing.
I love it.
Yeah, those guys right there. That's DB.
Oh yeah.
Like just grow that hair out a bit.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what he kind of looks like. To me.
Oh god, that's fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, no Visson, but hopefully I get on with those guys again. They were honestly truly fun, and I was envious of because they're at a sports book. I can't remember which hotel they're at.
I was just looking it up.
And they were getting one of the owners of one of the casinos on there, Derek Stevens, I think was his name, and I'm like, wow, that guy goes on your show. That guy's like a billionaire. It's pretty cool. It really, really neat. It always feels bigger because it's Vegas. You know what I mean?
Oh, for Circa.
Oh, it's Circa.
Yeah,
That's the
Circa down on
the new
Fremont.
one.
Yeah.
Has the stadium swim. Very cool. But thanks for watching that. I appreciate that.
And the D, which is also on Fremont as well.
Yeah.
I just looked that up.
Fremont has kind of had obviously
little
they've
resurgence.
changed. Yeah, resurgence for sure.
I haven't been to Fremont since the resurgence.
I did. Neither have I. I've done the zip line down Fremont.
Oh yeah, I've watched people on the zip.
It was cool. I have to admit, it was pretty sweet. Anyway,
but what about the power play? This is where I kind of wanted to get to for the numbers game as well.
Yeah.
I think they had chances. Like they had
connected.
opportunities. 1 for 6.
Yeah, that's not good enough. But they have connected in each game, which is good.
Yeah.
They've leaked one on the PK each game.
Yeah.
That's not good. There seems to be. Well, and it's a crutch of this Oilers power play, that reliance on opening up Draisaitl for the one-timer.
I thought that in game 2.
And
I did, yeah.
Bobrovsky is anticipating it.
That one was a great
save.
Great freaking save.
His legs are so quick.
You got to go. You got to get that. But that's tough
elevate.
to do. I mean, Draisaitl's a freak, but that's still not easy.
So maybe I'm sure they recognize that they've overemphasized the one-timer to Draisaitl. So you got to adapt. Look what the Panthers are going to give you. Take those looks. Maybe throw something new at them. Throw them off their game. But it's good that Edmonton has connected on power plays so far in this series. By the way, if you want to complain about the officiating, which is fine, I get it. Officiating is not good in general. Edmonton has had 12 power plays. Panthers have had 8.
Yeah, I mean, Edmonton should have had one for too many men on the ice penalty, though. I mean, those are the ones you have to call.
Well, again, the bar is with the officials so low that, I understand the anger and frustration. I get mad too, but it's like, oh yeah, they suck.
But there's two that are so obvious.
I know.
The over the glass, you automatically
have to call that.
And when it's a blatant too many men.
And you get gun shy.
And it's not like the Oilers are somewhere else in the ice. They were skating the puck right past the dude who was still going off.
Yes.
That's just officials being cowards and not doing their job in one of the biggest moments of the hockey game. Simple as that. And there's no other way to describe it.
They're spooked.
There's no way they could have seen that and said, oh, that's not too many. That is 100% too many men. They just didn't call it because they didn't do their job. I mean, there's no. I'm trying to figure out a better way to describe it, but they didn't do their job.
Correct.
Because they're like, oh, we can't give them a power play because no. That's you talk about
right.
You get a little bit more with the slash. I hate it, but I get it.
Yes.
But that one has to be called. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It just,
it
was garbage. It was BS.
And they do review, and the league does clump and say, hey, you missed this. And that does happen. Bottom line, when the Oilers get power play opportunities, they need to try to mix it up a bit more because A, Bobrovsky's back there anticipating that, and B, Florida's PK is pretty damn good.
Yeah, part of it is you have to give the best penalty kill in the playoffs some credit.
Absolutely.
But there's a couple of times, you're right on, Bobrovsky's reading it. As soon as that puck goes across, he's as hard as he can.
Yep.
And then there was the one, I guess, in the third period. Remember, there was a little bit of ice. McDavid had cut down and tried to go back up to Draisaitl across.
Yep. And someone
And
got
it was on that one power play that was a disaster. They had that one power play that was
did
no
nothing.
good at all.
Yeah.
That was a play on that one. I'm like, that's just too simple.
It reminded me a bit of the Vegas series where there were some moments where Edmonton's power play was just blanketed by the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
I got flashbacks to that second round series, but hey, an opportunity tonight to adapt, throw something different at the Panthers, maybe something they don't expect. And I trust the Edmonton Oilers, the coaching staff to come up and formulate a plan that will be something they are able to execute on. That is something that the Panthers aren't expecting. I give them the benefit of the doubt in that regard because they have so much creativity. They have the players and the personnel that can make that kind of thing happen. That if we see a set piece that is new to us tonight and it's effective and they score on it, I'd be like, hey, good strategy, good coaching, and then good execution of a game plan. But I think you need to switch it up a little bit.
Let's get to a couple more messages. Then we got EST Afternoons on the way. Gord says, pretty rough thumbs up number for 300 people watching. Yeah, we're at 19 away from 100. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, hammer the thumbs up for us. And make sure you click that little play button and turn on autoplay. And that'll take you straight on over to EST Afternoons as the longest pregame show in the city continues as we continue to get you ready leading up to the official GCL Diesel pregame show. That'll get rolling at 5 o'clock tonight from Boston Pizza Westgate.
Yep.
The other one that I wanted to get to, Max Bazuzu says, I spent all weekend explaining to my kid and my wife who don't watch hockey what game management means.
Oh.
Well, and as Jim pointed out, Simpson on the broadcast said, if this isn't the playoffs, that's called.
Yep.
Like you can't.
And that's not how it's supposed to be.
Do that. You're changing the integrity of the bloody sport.
Yes.
Which drives me insane all the time, every year, whether the Oilers are in it or not. It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
What's coming up on EST Afternoons there, Coop?
Tons of discussion ahead of Game 3 down in South Florida. Who shines in Sunrise?
Oh, wow.
You like it. He's
You guys came up
polishing
with that?
up
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
little
good.
thing.
That's good.
I
Nice
was
work.
going on a walk yesterday. I was like, wow, it's
That's what you thought of. You're like, okay.
That's where great ideas come from. On
So
a brisk walk
you just
outside.
used your best
Enlightenment.
thing on this show.
Yeah, well, I used it on
Now
every
you're gonna
show.
use it on the
It's
next
so
show,
good.
too.
I have to use it so many times until it wears off.
That
but
makes sense.
We got Inside the Numbers, which never wears off. Gonna hit some lines. Not sure what the boys are gonna dive into there.
Are you just
for
trying to
Play
channel
Alberta.
Gene Principe right now?
Just tell us what's on the
don't know.
damn show, Zach.
I don't know.
Everything's a pun with you now.
No, lots of Oilers discussion. We'll recap the Elks weekend. Of course, their season.
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what Hernan has to say about that.
He's
I'm
a
pretty
hot
sure he's fired
tamale.
up. Yeah, pretty sure the Latino Heat's going to be fired
And
up.
hey, good job on Zach to the Future last week.
Oh, thank
that
you.
was
Yeah,
also-
you did
I
get
like
the
that
Tina
segment.
Turner one, though.
You guessed Whitney Houston, right?
Yeah.
That's a good guess because
it's
they're
a tough
in that
one.
same.
same era.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, understandable.
Yeah.
I
But
need to brush up on my old school music, though.
there you go.
Dancing music.
That's what this is about.
Club music.
Kenny G references galore.
All right. That's going to do it for the oil stream. Tommy, we'll see you at BP's tonight.
Yes, sir.
Boston Pizza Westgate. Pregame show starts at 5 o'clock.
Hernan and Jolene Latimer on location. Cass is back as our analyst
Oh, boy. Well, that's, Hernan's to be on location.
for pregame.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
Zach. Okay. Well, it's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a fun night there at Boston Pizza. That's going to do it for the oil stream. Presented to you by Boston Pizza. And, of course, portions of the show brought to you by Popeyes and our partners over at Play Alberta. EST Afternoons is on the way next. I'll be back on the air tomorrow morning with the Nielson Show recapping Game 3 for Tommy Gazzola. I'm Dustin Nielson. Talk to you then.